Show on the Padres Radio Network.
Yeah, Machado laces it in the air to deep left. This one gonna go!
Coming up, we'll recap the last Padres game, preview today's starting pitching matchup, give you our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Craig Stammen. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. As today the Padres take on the Arizona Diamondbacks in the third game of a four-game series. Our starting pitching matchup tonight for the D-backs, right-hander Jose Cabrera, and for the Padres, right-hander Michael King. Hi again, everyone. Sam Levitt with you from inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 7:10 p.m. Coming up the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. You'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. We hear from the newest Padre, Luis Rengifo, and we also hear from Diamondback third baseman Nolan Arenado. We check in with Padres radio voice Jesse Agler in just a few minutes. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971, with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres and D-backs both enter at 45 and 46 today, splitting the first 2 games of this series. Both teams entering today 4.5 games out of a wild card spot in the National League. Today the Padres handing the ball to Michael King. He took a no decision on Friday in LA. He was charged with 2 runs on 3 hits in 6+ innings. 24-year-old Jose Cabrera was called up for the first time last month. He'll make his first ever start against San Diego and in San Diego for the D-backs here today. Well, if you tuned in late last night, you missed a lot. Let's quickly rewind how it went down in Game 2 of this 4-game set.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, for a second straight night, the top of the first inning did not go well. D-backs loaded the bases with nobody out against Padres starter German Marquez. After the Padres got a force out at home, Marquez walked Max Kepler to bring in a run. D-backs had a 1-0 lead, but then the Padres got a break, a line drive double play. The second baseman Sung Moon Song. Inning was over. D-backs only getting the 1 run. It was unearned against Marquez because of an error by Jake Cronenworth earlier in the inning. Right-hander Zach Allen took the mound in the bottom half of the inning. Padres offense got right to work. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a leadoff double. Jackson Merrill was next.
And Jackson swings, rips it into right. That's a base hit. Fernando had to wait and see if it would be caught. He's going to be waved. Rounding third on his way. Carroll's throw will go to second base. It's an RBI single for Jackson Merrill. And 2 batters into the bottom of the first. The Padres have tied it up 1-1.
Padres weren't done. A 2-out walk to Gavin Sheets, put 2 on base for Jake Cronenworth.
And Cronenworth swings, rips it in the air, deep down the right field line, headed towards the pole. This one, gonna go! Jake Cronenworth, a 3-run home run. And the Padres get their crooked number in the bottom of the first.
From that point, this game became about Padre pitching. Marquez was great after that first inning. He gave up just a couple of singles and a walk in the next 4 innings. He did not allow a runner to get to second base after the first. Marquez went 5. Meanwhile, Gallen also settled in for Arizona. He got through 5 innings with just the runs he allowed in the first. Padres still led 4-1. Go to the 6th inning. Craig Stammen went to lefty Yuki Matsui. Matsui got in trouble. He gave up back-to-back singles. That brought the tying run to the plate. Stammen went to righty Johnny Brito, who was activated just earlier in the day. His first appearance in the major leagues in nearly 2 years. The first batter he faced was Nolan Arenado.
First pitch on the way, and Arenado hits it on the ground sharply to short. Bogarts flips to second one. Song to first in time and a double play. Welcome back, Johnny Brito. First major league pitch in almost 700 days, and an inning-ending double play.
Brito pitched a scoreless 7th inning. Bradley Rodriguez did the same in the 8th inning. Padres still up 4-1 going to the 9th. It was time for Mason Miller.
2-2 to Arenado. Miller kicks and delivers, and taken right down the middle. Strike 3 called. 1-0-3 center cut, and a 1-2-3 ninth inning for Mason Miller to seal the deal. A first inning flurry is enough for the Padres capped off by Jake Cronenworth's 3-run homer. A 4-1 win over the Diamondbacks to even this series at a game apiece.
Mason Miller picking up the save, easy 1-2-3 inning, and that was it last night. Padres 4, Diamondbacks 1 as the Padres even up this 4-game series at a game apiece, and now the Padres try to win a second game in a row. It's been a while since they've done that. We'll see if they can do it here tonight with first pitch coming up at 7:10 here from downtown San Diego. Let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, Jesse, let's start with a conversation about the starting pitching and Michael King. Pretty good example of what a solid start can do for a ball club, what German Marquez did yesterday. Michael King, you know, you look at the line from his start in L.A., 2 runs given up. If you watch that game, it was a pretty good start. Obviously, put a couple of base runners on in the 7th inning, but I felt, Jesse, like it was certainly a right step in the direction. What do I want to say here? A step in the right direction. That's what I want to say for Michael King, Jesse. Hopefully he follows it up here today against Arizona.
Yeah, I thought he was terrific, especially when you consider he was going up against, obviously, one of the best lineups in baseball. I don't think he was too happy to come out of that game either when Craig Stammen made the pitching change. But look, I fully understood where Craig was coming from in that situation. You know, in his previous couple of outings, things kind of snowballed on him a little bit at the end. And I think that's what the Padres were trying to avoid having happen there. So Morejon came on, right? Everybody remembers first and second, nobody out. What are you looking for? You're looking at a ground ball right at somebody. What did he get? He got a ground ball right at somebody. Should have been a double play. And Cronenworth just, was unable to make the play, turned into an error. Bases loaded, nobody out. Next pitch, and a grand slam for Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, that's as cool as it gets, and it was just kind of how things were going at the moment for the Padres. So, that was the runs that were charged to Michael King came on that swing, and probably should have never gotten to that point. So I thought he was terrific. Again, really the only trouble he was in all night was in that last inning, and had, Cronenworth handled that double play ball, maybe a very different conversation that night, maybe a very different conversation here tonight. But, yeah, no doubt something to build on, a step in the right direction. Always harder to say than it sounds like. I don't blame you there. And, he was great. And if he can put another one like that together here tonight against a team he has always pitched well against, we're going to be having a happy recap at the end of the night.
Jesse, let's talk a little bit about Jake Cronenworth. He has looked like a different offensive player since coming off the IL. Certainly understandable considering what those final 3 weeks or so looked like before he went on the IL, again, considering he was playing essentially with a concussion. This has been a big deal, Jesse, for this Padres ball club. The fact that Jake is looking the way he looks, especially at the plate, it's been a very good sign. And you know Jake well. I know Jake well. I think a good feel story right now that Jake is starting to come around.
No doubt about it. And, I was glad that Jake, when he did return, spoke pretty openly about what he was going through in terms of his struggles while he was still playing, as you said, with a concussion. And not just because it's going to bring, some awareness maybe to the situation and for people, who maybe even at the high school level, the college level are dealing with head injuries and not realizing necessarily what they're going through. And I think you and I talked about that at the time. But also, his struggles were not just that he was struggling. It wasn't just a guy in a slump. It was a guy who, oh my goodness, literally was sometimes seeing 2 baseballs when he was at the dish. Or, the ball looked like that to him, it was right down the middle, when in reality, it was a foot outside. And maybe it's a slight exaggeration, but not really much of one at all. I mean, he was having legitimate vision issues as a result of that. And so we all know the psychology of baseball, right? All of a sudden, he didn't realize that was happening, by the way. That's just what was happening. He didn't understand as it was going on what was going on. So now, you're swinging and missing at pitches, and you can't understand why you're swinging and missing at pitches. So now in your mind, it really starts to get away from you. Why do I stink? What's going on? Why can't I get a hit? And that just makes things even worse than they already are. So he was about as low as you can get. His struggles were as severe as they could possibly be. And so now the mind and the eyes have cleared up for him, and also able to kind of get past, that psychological issue that I'm sure came with, the concussion, and to just sort of be free at the plate and get back to being himself. We've all seen, since 2020, what Jake is capable of when he's at his best. And that's a bat that is dangerous and a bat that is, really much needed in this lineup right now. So it's been wonderful, as you said, to kind of see him do what he's been doing.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from Jake Cronenworth. Jesse, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you and Bob Scanlon coming up at the very top of the hour at 7 p.m. as the Padres go for a second consecutive win. Thanks so much.
You got it, Sammy.
That was Jesse Agler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 7:10, the third game of this 4-game series, third game of this 7-game homestand as the Padres wrap up the first half of the season. All-Star break beginning on Monday. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. Padres did make a move earlier today. We'll get into that. They're also missing a key name from their lineup today, so we'll get into that as well. First pitch coming up at 7:10 here in downtown San Diego from Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening to the
Pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 7:10, Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres will play one more against the D-backs tomorrow, and then they'll welcome in the Toronto Blue Jays. Speaking of the Blue Jays, we'll talk the out-of-town scoreboard. Former Padre Dylan Cease had quite the outing today, so we'll discuss that in a little bit. But the Blue Jays coming to town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Padres did make a move earlier today. You may have missed this. Luis Rengifo, veteran, mostly infielder, has played a little bit of outfield in his career. He had been playing at AAA El Paso. Rengifo was selected from AAA El Paso today, activated on the Padres 26-man roster, and Samad Taylor put on the 10-day IL earlier today. So Taylor on the IL with a right oblique strain. Luis Rengifo, when he gets in the lineup or comes off the bench today, will make his Padres debut. So Rengifo called up from AAA, and again, Samad Taylor put on the bench, or I should say, Samad Taylor put on the IL with that right oblique strain. As far as the Padres lineup today, it is missing a key guy, Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field leading off, Jackson Merrill in center field batting second, Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting third, Gavin Sheets at first base batting cleanup, Jake Cronenworth at second base batting fifth, Luis Campusano doing the catching batting sixth, Miguel Andujar the DH batting seventh, Jace Bowen in left field batting eighth, and Sungmoon Song at third base batting ninth, with the right-hander Michael King on the mound for San Diego today. And you may have noticed an absence for Manny Machado. Manny banged the ball off his left foot yesterday, so let's hear more about that and about the Rengifo-Taylor move as we check in with the Padres skipper.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Craig, let's start with the move today. Luis Rengifo called up, activated Samad Taylor to the IL. What can you tell us about both parts of that move?
Yeah, Samad left the game early last night. I don't know if you saw the swing he took. Had some pain in his right abdomen oblique, so he's got a right oblique strain. And Rengifo, we just signed him, a week ago and got him out here, and he's been performing well in AAA. Excited to have him on the squad.
They're a bit of different players. Taylor, an outfielder. Rengifo's been more of an infielder in his career, has played a little bit of outfield. What do you envision Rengifo's role being?
Yeah, switch hitting, utility, can play the outfield, can play the infield, just kind of fit in. Good pinch hit option for us. Been in the big leagues for a while, so brings a little bit of experience, but, glad to have him on the roster.
Manny took that ball off his leg yesterday, out of the lineup today. What can you share with us about his status?
Yeah, just a day off. I was going to give him a day off here this week at some point. Today just made a lot of sense. So just fouled the ball off his big toe. It was definitely sore. Couldn't run nearly as well last night, but, kind of almost like a scheduled day off for him.
Would he be available off the bench in the right spot tonight?
Yeah, we haven't even I haven't talked to him about how his toe feels really. So I'll talk to him a little bit, see how he's feeling, and then we'll judge that, as the game goes.
Jake Cronenworth, the home run yesterday. His offense has been really, really good since coming off the IL. What does a productive Jake Cronenworth do for this lineup?
Yeah, it's definitely good against right-handed pitching. We got that lefty in the lineup, that extra lefty. Gives a quality at bat every time. We know when Jake gets hot, he's a big part of our offense, and so far we get him going, we can score some runs.
Looking at the past few days, nice win on Sunday, rough game on Monday, nice win last night. It seems like this is a part of the schedule where this team would benefit from gaining some momentum, stringing some wins together. In your eyes, what is the key to that? So kind of putting together a quote-unquote run.
Yeah, the only thing that we can do is show up with the right energy and the right attitude every single day. And if we do that, that'll give us the best chance of having success out on the field.
Samad, as Sam mentioned, Samad and Rengifo, a little different players. Samad had become kind of a staple in left, so that little thin in the outfield, I would say.
Yeah, I think, we got Ty can always play first, and Gavin can play left. We have Miguel Andujar can play left, Rengifo can play left, Bowen can play left. He's playing left tonight. So we've got a versatile roster that can play a lot of different places. So I feel, we'll handle it. While it stinks that Samad is hurt and we got him out of the lineup for a while, he's been a big part of some of our success. We got other guys who can fill in.
It sounds like he's dealt with oblique stuff before, and this maybe isn't as bad as he's had in the past. What is I know there's no set timetable yet, but what is the expectation?
Yeah, I think you're kind of right. He's had it in the past. He kind of knows what it feels like when, it's really bad or, it's something that he can work through. We'll keep evaluating him, see he's probably going to get an MRI on it, see what type of strain it is, what grade, and then, be able to come up with a plan after that.
Manny try and talk his way into the lineup, knowing how he is?
No, he did not try to talk his way. He and I have talked about a day off in this series at some point and trying to figure out what day that was, and worked out that today was a good day.
With Bowen in particular, the numbers were really good at AAA. Then he comes up and he's in one of those sort of classic young player spots where he's not playing a ton. I'm sure that's not the easiest situation for him. It would seem like maybe this is a bit of a good opportunity for him to get some more at-bats and maybe get some more consistent playing time?
Yeah, good opportunity for him. He's gotten an at-bat the last 2 nights. We really like those 2 at-bats. The swings he's put on the baseball looked like the Jace Bone that we saw in spring training, what we saw, in AAA before we called him up. There's always pressure that you put on yourself when you're a rookie. When you come up, you feel like you've got to be this extraordinary player just to stay in the big leagues. And sometimes a little bit of a breather and understanding, like, I just got to be myself. Whatever the best version of me is, that's what I've got to be. I think he's settling into that a little bit now. He hasn't had the consistent at-bats that he probably wants to be super locked in at the plate, but he's going to get his opportunity tonight and see what he's got.
The Padres are going to honor Trevor Hoffman with a bobblehead tonight. To put you on the spot, who has the better walkout? Was it Trevor Hoffman or is it Mason Miller right now?
I think they're both really good. I like Trevor's, like that's old school. That was like the originator of the walkout. So we got to give, to the originator, he gets the number 1 nod on the best walkout.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen earlier today inside the Padres dugout. It is indeed Trevor Hoffman bobblehead night here at Petco Park. Lots of people already with their bobbleheads in hand inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building. And Hell's Bells, so memorable. Mason Miller, a terrific entrance these days here at Petco Park as well. As we get ready for first pitch coming up at 7:10, let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to step up their game? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not. Presented by ASAP Drain Guys and Plumbing, a division of Anderson Commercial, your full-service plumber serving San Diego County.
Let's begin with a look at the hot category. We put a couple of lefty bats in there. Jake Cronenworth batting .360 in his last 25 at-bats, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs in that span. Jackson Merrill batting .304 in his last 23 at-bats. The not category, we put one guy in there, actually Ty France, who again is not in the lineup today. France is only 1 for 16 in his last 4 games. France didn't play yesterday, not in the lineup again here today, albeit against a couple of right-handers. Zach Allen on the mound for Arizona yesterday, and Jose Cabrera, young right-hander. We'll talk more about him coming up in a little bit on the mound today for Arizona. Let's take a quick look at some Major League headlines as we go around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Oh, yeah, it's a big news today in the majors. Justin Verlander, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 2-time World Series champion, and an MVP winner. He will undoubtedly be a Hall of Famer. Announced earlier today that he will retire at the end of this season. The 43-year-old, who will make his 10th All-Star Game appearance next week after being named a legend pick by Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred. Earlier today, he has 266 regular season wins, more than 3,500 strikeouts in 21 Major League seasons. He's been hurt most of this season. He's playing for the team he came up with in the Tigers, and he will be finished after this season. He will retire. What a career for Justin Verlander. One day going to Cooperstown, no doubt. The Angels activated center fielder Mike Trout, speaking of Cooperstown, from the IL earlier today, just in time for the All-Star game in his beloved Philadelphia. Grew up not too far away from there in New Jersey. Trout sat at 17 games because of a strained right hamstring that he suffered back in June, and Trout back in the lineup today against the Rangers for the Halos. Well, the Phillies have played very well under interim manager Don Mattingly. He was asked earlier today by ESPN if he would be interested in managing beyond this year, and Mattingly said, yes, I would do it. So we'll see if Don Mattingly remains with the Phillies. He's certainly done a nice job there after Rob Thompson was let go. And finally, the White Sox, they have the number 1 pick in the upcoming Major League Baseball draft over the weekend. And they are apparently, according to their vice president of amateur scouting, Mike Shirley, between three players for the number one pick: UCLA shortstop Rock Chalowski, Georgia Tech catcher Von Lackey, and Texas high school shortstop Grady Emerson. Apparently the guys that are vying for that top number one pick. We'll see who they select, and we'll see who the Padres select with pick number 21 of the upcoming draft over the weekend. And we'll have a little coverage of that for you on our pregame show, probably on Friday. And that's a look at some of the headlines from around the major leagues. When we come back, we'll hear from the newest Padre, Luis Rengifo. I also go one-on-one with Diamondback third baseman Nolan Arenado, who's approaching 2,000 hits in his major league career. Much, much more to do as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at 7:10 on the Padres Radio Network.
Hello, friends. It's Woodsy here.
EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network from Petco Park on this Wednesday evening. First pitch coming up at 7:10. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. That's 760-350-3338. I go one-on-one with Diamondback third baseman Nolan Arenado in just a little bit. Stay tuned for that. But first, let's once again go over the transactions today as far as the IL and who is out of today's Padres lineup.
Who's in, who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, like we said earlier, Padres making a move earlier today. Samad Taylor going on the IL, 10-day IL with a strained right oblique. The corresponding move, Padres calling up Luis Rengifo, veteran infielder and sometimes, once in a while, outfielder in his career. He will be active, available off the bench for tonight's game. So Taylor's going to be out for a little bit. Manny Machado, who banged a foul ball off his left toe yesterday. He is out of the Padres lineup. Sounds like all the imaging was negative yesterday, so that's good news. But he is out of the lineup today. We'll see if Manny is available off the bench today. He gets a day off from the starting lineup. And that's a quick look at who's in, who's out. A couple of moves today for the Padres. Really one move in Taylor going to the IL. Rengifo being activated, but Manny again out of the lineup today for Game 3 of this 4-game set against Arizona. Luis Rengifo spoke to reporters and myself inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Here was Rengifo on his experience the last week and a half, 2 weeks playing down at AAA El Paso.
Playing the Paso is kind of like feel my timing back and just feel my rhythm. It feels really good come back here with these guys. So it's a great organization and just move forward.
Do you know what capacity you're here for?
I don't talk with the manager yet, so but it's kind of be available and go at every situation they need me.
Luis, you started the year with Milwaukee. How did the opportunity to then come to the Padres originally come about?
Yeah. So I started the season with Milwaukee, so they give me the opportunity, but things don't go well. But this is a new opportunity for me, and just play hard and see what happens.
What did you like about the potential of joining the Padres, this team in particular?
Just help the team to win. That's the most important thing. Every single time when we go there, we push the team and get the W at the end of the day.
What has been working for you at El Paso specifically, the swing?
Just feel my timing. They help me with the mechanic stuff, and I feel really, really good. And just continue to do that.
It seems like you know some people in this clubhouse. You've been around for a while. Like, what do you kind of make of this group?
We had a lot of Latin players and good guys like I know before, and just getting me enjoy and every single time when we.
Does it make it better to come into a clubhouse where you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That was Luis Rengifo inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Rengifo's been a good player at times in his career. Obviously spent a lot of time with the Angels from 2019 through 2025. He hit 17 home runs, 16 home runs in a couple of seasons, hit 300 in 2024 and limited at bats, but did have more than 300 plate appearances. So been a productive player. Didn't go particularly well for Rengifo. Hit just 205 with no home runs earlier this season in more than 200 plate appearances for Milwaukee. But hey, we'll see how the veteran can contribute to the Padres moving forward. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Wednesday.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We have a number of finals already. Nationals beat the Astros 8-2 in D.C. Marlins blanked the Mariners 2-0 in Miami. Rays beat the Yankees 3-0 in Tampa Bay. Braves beat the Pirates 3-0 in Pittsburgh. Tigers beat the A's 6-1 in Detroit. Cubs beat the Orioles 9-7 in Baltimore. Blue Jays beat the Giants earlier today in San Francisco 10-0. Dylan Cease, former Padre, took a no-hitter into the ninth inning in that game, was broken up in the ninth. Reds leading the Phillies 11-4 in Cincinnati in the seventh inning. Mets ahead of the Royals 2-1 in the eighth inning in New York. Red Sox 5, White Sox 0 in the seventh inning in Chicago. Guardians lead the Twins 5-3 in Minnesota in the seventh inning. Cardinals 5, Brewers 1 in St. Louis. They're in the seventh. Angels leading the Rangers 7-0 in Arlington in the fifth. And one game yet to begin aside from this one, Rockies and the Dodgers in LA at 7-10. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll have much more on all those games coming up a little bit later during our post-game coverage. Well, Nolan Arenado was traded from the Cardinals to the Diamondbacks this past offseason. Arenado now in his 14th year in the major leagues. He enters today 10 hits away from 2,000 on his career. He's already got 363 career home runs. Obviously a terrific third baseman, 10-time Gold Glover, 8-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger, Nolan Arenado. Inside the Diamondbacks clubhouse, I spoke with him earlier.
How would you describe the season for you so far, for both you and the ball club?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been battling pretty good. I mean, we've had some injuries, we've dealt some things. Everybody deals with some adversity, but we've been battling. We would like to be in a better spot, but at the same time, we are competing, and we're not out of this thing. It's a long season. Individually, I think I expect more of myself, but I'm always going to say that no matter what, even as I get older. But it doesn't matter. I'm not had a good streak there for a minute. Felt good. Kind of lost it there, so just trying to end the first half on a good note.
You mentioned dealing with adversity. This is a Padres team on the other side that's going through a little bit of a tough stretch right now. Over the course of your long, successful career, what have you learned about dealing with the ups and downs of a long baseball season?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to stay with it. I mean, it's so long, and you just, baseball season it's crazy. When the moments you're struggling, you kind of wonder, like, like what is going on and how long is this going to last? And then once you're out of it, you realize, like, dang, we still have a lot of games to go. So it's just baseball's just a crazy long season. Sometimes you forget it when you're in the fight because those moments are tough when you're in those tough moments. But you just got to realize that's a long season, and usually the cream always rises to the top.
Nolan, you're a veteran. You've been around this game a long time, number of different teams. Now, this is a relatively young D-back team. What do you view as your role as a veteran inside this clubhouse?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to contribute to these guys, be there for them if they have any questions, share my knowledge that I have. But, a lot of these guys do a great job. We have great players on this team. It's fun being a part of it. They're young, they're energetic, and it helps me too.
Nolan, when you think about Manny Machado, you two have always, I think, sort of been linked in a way because you've always been such great defensive third basemen. Seems like year after year right now battling for the Gold Glove in the National League. What's your perspective on Manny and sort of that idea that he's been your contemporary at third base for so many years?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I have a lot of respect for him. I got to know Manny a little bit. I'm really, and there's a mutual respect there for sure, and someone that I admire his game. I've always said this. When I was younger, I'd always follow him in Baltimore. And try to compare and make sure that he's not getting the one up on me. The little things like that. Maybe it's petty, but that's just like he helped motivate me to push and get better. So I appreciate him for that.
Nolan, you came up with the Colorado Rockies, spent a long time in the division in the NL West, coming to Petco Park. It certainly seems like since you became a major leaguer, things have kind of changed here in San Diego in the sense of who's on the team, the caliber of player, the crowds here in San Diego. Can you give me a little bit of your perspective on how you've seen Padre baseball change in your tenure in the major leagues?
I mean, it's been truly remarkable. And I think AJ Preller kind of deserves a lot of credit for that. This place, I was actually talking to my parents, because my parents obviously come to support me my whole career. When they would come here as a Rocky player, it'd be pretty empty. And it'd be hard to win here because it was not motivating and exciting. And, because you want to go to the beach, you want to relax, and you're like, oh, the environment's going to be poor, whatever. And then, just a few years ago, after that COVID year, it's just changed dramatically here. And it's been an incredible environment. It's hard to win here. It is now. And, if you would have told me that it's going to be hard to win here when I was a young player, I would have said no chance in San Diego. But now watching the turnaround here, it's been incredible. I mean, these fans get rowdy. It gets really loud here. It's been truly remarkable. It's got to be fun.
As somebody who's been around as long as you have, it sounds like that is something that really plays a factor. Other away environments, when the fans are loud and boisterous, that really can have an impact on the competition.
Absolutely. I mean, this, and then just being on the home side of it, playing at Busch Stadium with the Cardinals, you're tired from the road trip. You're kind of hanging on that Monday, but when you get a sold out Busch or sold out Petco, it motivates you and it gets you going, and it makes the other teams uncomfortable. So the turnaround here has been unbelievable.
Let's finish up with this. You mentioned coming back from a road trip on a Monday. Padres actually just had that situation to begin this series. What have you learned as you're getting older about what you need to do physically to be ready for the grind of a long year?
Yeah, I think it's, I hate to say the word less because I don't like to do less, but that's just what it comes to terms now. It's, a little bit less ground balls, save the legs, making sure I feel fresh every game, making sure, there's times now where in the ninth inning I may be a little tired, and that's something that I have to watch for. I got to make sure that as the game goes on, that I'm still having the same energy that I had in the first inning. So just little things like that I got to keep up with. When you're younger, you don't even think about those things.
Nolan, really appreciate the time. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you again down the road.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
That was Nolan Arenado, Diamondback third baseman, earlier today inside the Diamondback clubhouse. Arenado back at third base, the Gold Glover for the Diamondbacks, and batting seventh in today's lineup for Arizona as we get ready for Game 3 of this 4-game series. First pitch coming up at 7:10. Let's give you our keys to tonight's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Rock and Block Turf and Hardscapes. Beautiful artificial turf that stays green all year long. Trust and experience. The job isn't done until it's done right. See them at rockandblocklandscape.com.
Key number one, strike early. Last night, the Padres did something that they have not often done this season, which is score a bunch in the first inning. The Padres plated 4 runs in the bottom half of the first inning yesterday, and that was plenty in a 4-1 win. Before yesterday, the Padres had scored only 31 first-inning runs this season, the fewest in baseball. So, can the Padres strike early again here tonight? That is key number one. Key number two, give Mike some run support. Padres have scored 3 runs or fewer in 10 of King's 12 starts since the beginning of May. His average run support per game is at 1.7 runs per start in that span. It's the lowest among all pitchers with a minimum of 50 innings in that span going back to the beginning of May. So the Padres have not done a good job at giving Michael King some run support. Can they do that here today? That's key number two. Key number three, Nando setting the tone. An underrated part of last night's game. Padres fell behind 1-0. Fernando Tatis Jr. then immediately led off the game with a double in the bottom half of the inning. Can Fernando have that kind of impact? Set the tone early again. Fernando's last 26 games, he's batting .309, 15 extra base hits, including 4 home runs in 19 runs scored. That's a look at our keys to tonight's game. When we come back, we talk about one Diamondback in particular that you'll want to keep an eye on here tonight. Plus, we preview today's pitching matchup between Michael King and Jose Cabrera. First pitch coming up at 7:10 from Petco Park. Our pregame coverage continues after this.
We'll be right back to
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch is coming up at 7:10 here at Petco Park. Third game of this 4-game set between the Padres and the D-backs. Sam Levitt with you here inside the Western Metal Building. We send things out to Jesse and Bob Scanlon in just about 5 minutes. Let's tell you what to watch for.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for in today's game? Can the Padres keep Corbin Carroll quiet? Carroll is just 3 for 32 with 12 strikeouts in his last 9 games. He's back in the Arizona lineup today, batting third. He is such a good young player, as we know, but he's slumping right now. Can the Padres continue to keep him down? That's what to watch for in today's game. We'll see if Michael King and the Padres bullpen can do that here today. Speaking of Michael King, let's dive into today's pitching matchup between King and the young right-hander Jose Cabrera on the mound for Arizona.
Let's break down how today's starters are shaping up with our starting pitching preview. Brought to you by Harrah's Resort Southern California and the First Down Sports Bar in Funner, California. Don't just watch the match, experience the glory. Head to Funner for every World Cup match to enjoy stadium-level energy and amazing specials at the best sports bar in SoCal.
On the mound for the Padres, right-hander Michael King. The 31-year-old is 5-7 with a 3.52 ERA, 18 starts this season, 102-plus innings, 88 strikeouts, 41 walks. King went 6 scoreless innings to begin his night against the Dodgers on Friday. Then he allowed a couple of base runners in the 7th. He ended up getting charged with 2 runs on that Teoscar Hernandez grand slam against Adrian Morejon. He faced the D-backs back on April 26th. Gave up 2 runs, both solo home runs in 6 innings with 8 strikeouts. Meanwhile, right-hander Jose Cabrera on the mound for Arizona, just 24 years old, called up for the first time to the major leagues last month. His 4th major league start here tonight, a 4.73 ERA in the first 3, 13 innings and a third, 16 hits given up. Last start against Milwaukee, threw just 63 pitches, 3 1/3 innings, 3 earned runs on 6 hits. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup tonight. Jose Cabrera on the mound for Arizona, Michael King on the mound for San Diego. As always, we appreciate you listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. When we come back, please send things out to Jesse Ackler and Bob Scanlon. They have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network.
Sid's Carpet Barn is San Diego's undisputed